biggest job search advice that I can give you is that you just for part-time jobs, the number one most important thing is and they also know that if they help you today, then you also might be able to help them at
What's up YouTube, it's Shivansh here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to Canada or if you are planning to come to Canada in the next few months, then you must know that there is a bit of a crisis situation going on in Canada with regards to part-time jobs, and international students are definitely finding it more challenging and more difficult to find a part-time job in Canada. Just the other day I was talking to an international student from India who came to Canada in January this year, and she told me that it took her 5 months to find a part-time job in Canada, which is definitely a long time. And this does affect your financial planning in Canada in a big way, because you'll have to take out a big chunk of your savings from your GIC and pay for your monthly expenses or your living expenses, and then you're left with less amount in savings for your next semester or your next school year's tuition fee. So if you're also in the same boat and you're worried about finding a part-time job in Canada, then this video will be very useful for you, because in this video I will tell you some of the major reasons why people, or especially international students, are not able to find a part-time job in Canada, and what you can do right now if you're in that situation, and how can you increase your chances of getting a part-time job. But before we begin, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, because your help and support is extremely important for the growth of this channel. And if you like, share and subscribe to my channel, then YouTube will show this video to a lot more number of people, and that will help me in a big way. So please make sure to do that. And with that being said, let's start this video.
So before we jump on to some of the things that you might be doing wrong or that you can do better in order to find a job sooner, let me just give you a bit of a reality check that yes, it has definitely become more difficult to find a part-time job in Canada, especially in the last 1 year or so, and that too especially in the major cities of Canada where there are a lot of international students or a lot of colleges. So you are not alone, you're not the only one who's facing these challenges or who is about to face these challenges, and there are several reasons why it has become more difficult to find a job now, including a greater influx of people who are coming to Canada, especially international students, and a very high inflation in Canada, which has actually forced employers to reduce their expenses wherever they can and not hire as many people as they used to before, and also because of the government's policy to temporarily allow international students to work full-time in Canada. So for example, if a store used to hire 6 people who were allowed to work about 20 hours every week, now those same 6 people don't have that limit. They can work how much ever they want, and because of that, the employer only needs to hire 3 people to do the work of 6 people, because those 3 people can actually compensate for the extra amount of hours that the other 3 people would work. But I will also say that this is not permanent. This is not going to stay like this forever. This is just how the economic cycles work during inflationary times, and things will definitely get better in the future, because Canada's economy is still growing and Canada still needs people to work in all types of jobs, whether it is part-time jobs or full-time jobs. Now obviously you can't really control the external factors, but what you can actually do is try the best you can to find a job, to figure out what you are doing wrong, where you are lacking, and then fix that. And if you do this, then I'm sure that you will find a job very soon and you will come out on top of it. So with that being said, here are some of the major things that you might be doing wrong, because of which you're not able to find a part-time job in Canada. And the very first reason is putting limited availability on your resume, or even worse, not mentioning your availability at all on your resume. Now, this is one of the very common reasons why most international students are not able to find a part-time job, because trust me, for part-time jobs, the number one most important thing is your availability. Because let's say if you go to a store or go to a mall and then you hand in your resume to the hiring manager, and if you're not available to work during the times when the hiring manager or when the company requires more people to work or they need more help, then you will never hear back from the hiring manager, because you're obviously not a great fit for that specific job. Similarly, if you don't mention your availability on your resume at all, then think about it. How will the hiring manager even know that when are you even available to work? When are you free? When do you have your school? Or when will you actually be willing to work for that company or that employer? So it is your responsibility to, one, be as flexible as you can, because you might have to work early morning shifts or late evenings depending on your availability. And if you just mention that you're only available to work on weekends or only on Saturdays and Sundays, then a lot of the people will actually not even call you, because most people want someone who at least has a little bit of flexibility in their schedule. And number 2 is that you need to clearly mention your availability on your resume, and also effectively communicate to the hiring manager or to the person in charge, so that they know exactly what time you will be available to work, you'll be willing to work, so that they can also quickly figure out whether you are a good fit for that job or not. Reason number 2 why you are not able to find a part-time job in Canada is that you're not talking to the right person, you're not handing over your resume to the correct person, which is the hiring manager. So I know that a lot of you guys must be visiting every single store out there that you possibly can, but just visiting stores and talking to anyone you see at the front counter is not going to be enough. You also need to be smart about who you are talking to and who are you handing over your resume to, and this in most cases is going to be the hiring manager, the person who is actually in charge of hiring someone for that specific role in that company or in that retail store or whatever place you're going to. Because if you're not actually talking to the hiring manager, then chances are that your resume will never actually even reach the person who is in charge of hiring you, or it might just get lost in the pile of resumes that people submit every single day and just drop into whoever they see at the counter first. And at that point, all your efforts of visiting every single store and talking to people will just go to waste because your resume will not even reach where it's supposed to reach. So this is what I would suggest you to do. When you go to a store, talk to the person who is at the front counter and ask for the hiring manager, and only talk to the hiring manager and only hand over your resume to the hiring manager. And if for some reason the manager is not available or they're not in the store, then don't even bother submitting your resume, and instead ask for when the manager will be in store or when will they actually be present so that you could talk to them directly. And once you know when they will be available, then make sure to visit the store at that specific time and then talk to the hiring manager in person, hand over your resume and mention your availability as well, because chances are that if there's a vacancy in that store and if they're actually looking to hire someone, then they might just take your interview right then and there and you might just get a job right away. So it is definitely worth trying. Reason number 3 why you are not able to find a part-time job in Canada is because you're not applying to enough jobs. Now this might sound too obvious to you, but honestly there are so many people who give up on their job search too soon, but when they don't hear back from anywhere or when they don't get a positive response, they start overthinking, get demotivated, lose all hope, and then they just stop applying to jobs. The biggest job search advice that I can give you is that you just gotta keep trying. You just need to keep applying to jobs. Whether you're looking for a part-time job or even a full-time job after you graduate, you just need to trust the process and keep going and keep applying for as many jobs as possible. There will be times when you will feel disappointed and hopeless, but you just need to keep going and keep trying, and you should explore all the different job search avenues that are available out there. You should obviously visit in store and hand over your resume in person to the hiring manager, and you should also explore the online job search platforms such as Indeed or LinkedIn or Glassdoor, because the more number of jobs you apply to, the higher your chances are of getting a job. Reason number 4 is only applying to jobs in your area. Now this is a problem that has become even more common in the last 1 year or so, and as I said before, that because there is more competition these days because of all the people who are coming in, all the international students who are coming to Canada, and also because the employers are hiring lesser number of people these days because of inflation, it has definitely become more difficult to find jobs, especially around the areas where there are popular colleges or popular universities. So what you need to do in that case is that you need to expand your job search area and try to look for jobs that are even farther away from where you are actually living. Now if you need to travel for 30 minutes or for 1 hour just to get to your workplace, and that's the only job that you can find, then that's what you have to do. That's the only option that you have. So you should not restrict yourself to just one area and explore opportunities outside of your neighborhood, outside of your locality, even if you have to face a little bit of a discomfort to travel to that workplace, because it is any day better to have a job that is a little far away from your place of accommodation than to not have a job at all and then face that financial pressure of surviving in Canada and utilizing all your savings to pay for your living expenses. Reason number 5 you're not able to find a part-time job in Canada is that you're not revisiting the same stores again after a few days, or that you're not following up with the manager after you hand over your resume. Now this is also one of the very common mistakes that a lot of international students make when they are looking for a part-time job, because let's say you go to a store and you hand over your resume to the hiring manager and the hiring manager says that there are no vacancies right now, so you should come back again later or you should try again later. And then what do you do in that case? Do you just give up? Do you never go back to that store again? Because that's what most people do, and that's actually wrong, because part-time jobs keep showing up, keep opening from time to time. Vacancies can show up at any given point of time, and who knows, after a couple of weeks, let's say somebody leaves that store or there's a new job vacancy at that very store itself, or sometimes the hiring managers are just too busy and they just forget about you even though you're a good candidate for that job. And whenever there's a new job posting or a new job vacancy at that very store, they might not even remember your name, or they might not even remember that you were the one who actually submitted submitted your resume a few days back. So there is absolutely no harm in going back to the store and following up with the hiring manager and just asking them again if they have any new vacancies, because this would actually leave some sort of an impression in their mind that you are still available, you're still looking for a job, and the next time they have a vacancy, they will probably have your name in mind because you went there, you put in the effort to actually follow up with them, and that makes all the difference in the world. Reason number 6 you're not able to find a job is that you're not asking your friends or connections for a referral. This basically means that you're not putting in the time and the effort to network with people in Canada, which is absolutely important if you want to get a job. A referral can be the easiest and the quickest way to find a part-time job in Canada, because for part-time jobs specifically, referrals work wonders. Because most employers who are looking to hire part-time workers want people who are trustworthy, who are reliable, and who can be trained. So if a person who's working at that same company refers someone, their friend or their acquaintance, then they're more likely to get a job very easily, because the employer would trust that employee who's already working for them as compared to someone who's just walking into a store and dropping their resume. Please do not hesitate to ask someone for a referral for a part-time job. If you know someone, if you have a friend who's working at a store, then it is completely fine to ask them for a referral. And even if you don't know them personally, if you don't know them very well, maybe they're in your class or in your college and you just know each other by face, or you've only spoken a few times, it is still completely fine to just ask them for a referral for a part-time job, because this is how you network with people, this is how you make friends, and they also know that if they help you today, then you also might be able to help them at some point in the future, because all of us are international students and we obviously need each other's help from time to time. So I hope now you know some of the major mistakes that you might be making in your job search process. And once again, I know it is difficult to find a part-time job, especially right now in Canada, and especially your first part-time job. But if you follow my advice from this video, and if you implement all these things, and if you fix those mistakes, then I'm sure that you'll be able to find a part-time job very soon. If you have any questions, then let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer them for you. And make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because that helps my channel in a big way. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.